What's good, YouTube family? Away. This is Kudi the baddest coming in with the heat, you know what I mean? Thanks for the 180 subscribers. We're leveling up each and every day, you know what I mean? Thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed, what is wrong with you? What's wrong? What's with the Go and subscribe. Go and make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you know ukuthi posta nini, and then we can be a fam and you can clap back at them studies, cause I know they're frustrating you. They used to frustrate me as well. So join in and comment and like and enjoy this video. I fell in love with reading at about the age of 13.
Just wait till I blow up! Oh, na, na, na. Put your hands in the air if you're loving tonight. Oh, na, na, na.
I want to explain the experience very vividly so that you can understand how it all came about. I was at a birthday party. My brother was invited to, so I also was invited to. I was hella bored, didn't know what to do, and somehow I found myself wandering in someone's house because I was so bored and it was a house party. Decided to just walk on all alone because I'm just a shy kid that just doesn't want to mingle with small kids, you know what I mean? And I found myself standing still at a bookshelf, like a really big bookshelf filled with many attractive books with big titles, different colors. It just felt so overwhelming right in that moment, and I was filled with a rush of excitement. I didn't know what to do with myself, you know. As I stood there, not knowing what to do, being all discombobulated, I saw the Nike logo on one of the books, and I was like, okay, Nike, okay, this must be interesting. And it read Shoe Dog Phil Knight. I was like, okay, so I'm pretty sure they're gonna be talking about the brand Nike, you know. I'm sure we've all worn it, and I was like just a young kid, all curious and all, and I'm like, what are they gonna talk about regarding to Nike, you know what I mean? I picked that book up, sat down on a couch, and from there I fell in love, like deeply in love with books. Like, you don't understand. Before that, when it came to reading was just something you did at school, you know. It was something that you did reading textbooks, you know. It was something that you did when you were reading some instructions in maths, some instructions in science, you know. You never really did it at home. That was something very unfamiliar. But seeing something so attractive like these books and the bookshelf so neat and all, I was just drawn in and I fell in love just at that moment. I read on and read on. I was all alone in my own space and I loved it. That book was just so awesome. An interesting tale about a young man that embarks on a journey, a very tough journey to establish his brand. I mean, we're at a time when Adidas and Puma were taking over, you know. This man took it upon himself to start something new, to revolutionize the shoe industry, you know. It was something that I couldn't even believe that it was possible for someone to literally ink down their thoughts, put down how they journey, their experiences, and I could relate with so many things that happened in this book. I was laughing to myself a lot of the times, and that was the first time I honestly fell in love with reading. I even moved on to The Hate You Give. That being because I went to the cinemas and I watched the movie adaptation.
Point 7 of the 10-point program, say it.
We want an immediate end to police brutality.
Finish it.
in the murder of black people and people of color and oppressed people.
By what means?
By any means necessary.
By what means?
By any means necessary.
By what means?
By any means necessary.
So why you gonna be quiet? What does that say?
Reasons to live give reasons to die.
And I was like, whoa, this is such a gripping movie. This movie is so amazing. And I found out that there's a book for it. I was like, what? So the movie was actually made from the book. Oh my gosh, my mind was exploding. Oh my god! But I went, I got this, and it was also something so amazing. I learned how to actually empathize, you know. A lot of the times we actually become so selfish, you know. We just think about our own problems, you know, especially as teenagers. You just feel like the world is ending. You feel like whatever you're going through, you're the only one that's going through it, you know. But this book, it opened my mind to more things, you know. I'm sure you've heard about Black Lives Matter movement. You've heard about police brutality, you know. But have you actually felt it from someone's perspective, from someone's feelings? I was actually in tears when I finished reading this book, because you go through so much and you just feel that, wow, I thought I'm going through a lot in my own personal life, but actually I'm really not. Actually, I must actually put myself in someone else's shoes once in a while to actually see that my life, I'm actually fortunate. I should actually be grateful that I don't have to go through police brutality, you know. I don't have to see people being killed on a daily basis. The time I bought this book, it was when I went to VMS. And VMS was also a big contributor to my reading, Village Montessori. When I went to that school, I found out that reading is actually cool. Like, everybody reads in that school. Like, it was such a cool culture that I hadn't been exposed to, you know. I was like, whoa, no, reading is something like, you know, it's only a few people that do it, you know. But going to that school showed me that anyone can be a reader, honestly. Everybody was reading. I remember even reading books became a flex, you know, a hard flex, because someone would pass by and be like, whoa bro, you have the exclusive collector's edition? Hey bro, that's a flex, bruh. Hey. And you'd feel so cool about yourself, because you're like, hey, okay, no, I know guys, I'm getting, you know, editor's edition, you know, proper things. Even in our free times, I'd be looking around and be like, today is reading this and that. Oh, okay, so everybody is reading. Ayanda is reading that self-help book. Oh my gosh, I have to get reading as well. My goodness me, that's why they get these high marks. That's why the class average is high. You know what I mean? I started seeing that everybody can do it, that it's actually cool. It's not just for the nerds. It's not just for a certain amount of people that are smart or something. No, it's literally for everyone, and you can try it as well. That is where I actually found that, no, this is actually very fun. This is actually cool, you know what I mean? So lastly, I want to let you guys know why you should read. You've heard my experience, how I got into reading, why I'm still reading, why I think reading is cool and fun and dope. But I want you guys to know, like, the major benefits. I'm sure you've heard everyone tell you that reading is important, you know, but they never actually tell you exactly why is it important, you know. You've heard your parents, your uncle, your auntie, your teachers, the principal, everyone tell you that go and read a book.
For real. I'm for real. So you better check yourself.
Actually, why, you know? And there's just so much I can list. There's so many benefits, but I wanna list two important factors that I feel help me a lot. And me, number one would be that reading develops your creativity. your imagination. I don't know what you want to be, what you want to do in this world, but what I do know is that our generation, we want to be rappers, we want to be singers, we want to do, you know, something creative. We want to do something that's out there, something that's fun. We want to follow our passion. We want to do art, we want to do drama, you know, and all of these things need you to read. If you don't read, you won't be able to actually express yourself properly, to actually be able to be creative, to think outside of the box, to think of different solutions, things that nobody actually thinks about. I remember when, back in VMS, when I was doing English, my English teacher loved reading my essays and my short stories and my argumentative writings, because I was the one that was creative out of the lot, you know. I was the one that thought outside of the box, that, you know what, I don't want to do a normal story. I want to do a story that's interesting, you know, and it also gave me big marks. It gave me extra marks, you know, because I was being creative. And not just that, but even my vocabulary was good. The way I described different scenes, how I described how things happened in the stories, it was just eloquent writing, you know. It was proper stuff, you know. The second factor that I feel is important is your self-image. I know a lot of people that have a low opinion towards themselves. As a teenager, while you're going through adolescence, you're still uncovering who you are. You're still uncovering what you want to do, you know. And I know that you go through so many things in life. Maybe you might go through bullying. You might go through your parents being divorced. You might go through just all kinds of things that are just demotivating and just saddening, you know. But when you go and read a book and you hear a story about somebody that has went through something you have went through, you feel so empowered, you feel just so strengthened, you know. There's a saying that goes that reading books. There's a saying that goes that books are not just doors. Books are also mirrors, you know. So you can see yourself through a book, you know. The best mirror that I've ever gotten was from the book Helium by Rudy Francisco.
When people ask how I'm doing, I want to say, my depression is an angry deity, a jealous god, a thirsty shadow that wrings my joy like a dish rag and makes my juice out of my smile. I want to say, getting out of bed has become a magic trick, and I am probably the worst magician I know. I want to say the sadness is the only clean shirt I have left, and my washing machine has been broken for months. But I'd rather not ruin someone's day with my tragic honesty. So instead, I treat my face like a pumpkin. I pretend that it's Halloween. I carve it into something acceptable. I laugh and say, I'm doing all right.
It really just describes how I was back then, you know. I was pretty shy, I was pretty quiet, you know. I didn't know how to express my feelings towards people. So you can see yourself through a book, you know. You can see yourself through somebody. Okay, it can be even fictional characters, of course. You can see yourself through fictional characters that are brave, that are courageous, you know. So those are the certain things that you need to equip yourself, you know. That self-development, that is why reading is also important. You develop yourself, you know what I mean? So, alrighty, so we've gotten to the end of this video. This one was more low-key, more chilled, you know, more relatable. I wanted to humble myself. I wanted to not, you know, be all in your face and shouting. I wanted for you to actually understand why you should definitely get into reading. After everything I've said, I hope you've taken something. I hope you've learned something, that you'll try to read something, you know, anything, even if it's newspaper, even if it's out of a magazine, to just start, you know, and then move on to novels, move on to poetry, move on to something that you will enjoy. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? Please tell your friends to subscribe, tell their friends to subscribe, so that we can become a community, we can grow, we can learn, and we can develop ourselves, you know what I mean? So, yeah. We're going places.